Welcome everybody, Josh the RV Nerd here with Bish's RV at my hometown Coldwater, Michigan store on a dreary overcast day. But frankly, this kind of weather is exactly when you might really like a trailer like that. This is the Freedom Express 259. It is a front kitchen with great prep space, and the front windshield on this one actually makes sense. Instead of being buried in a bedroom, it actually gets to overlook like your campsite or just give you better visibility, you know, giving you a good look at things. But it's a living room super slide that is carpetless, no floor vents. This is easy breezy, beautiful cover girl cleaning kind of camping right here. It's also a rare find in a travel trailer that is nicely suited for taller people like me, which is one of the reasons I really like Freedom Expresses. There's so many little details on these where you can see they weren't just designed by an engineer, they were really designed and fine-tuned by people who actually go camping. The taller ceiling inside is one of those things. They don't use short beds in these. Actually, this one, a really rare find, a travel trailer that is legit under 30 feet tip to tail. It's awful close, but under 30 feet tip to tail with a king bed, private rear bedroom slide. That's just not something you find every day. Now, there's certainly some other floor plans like this one out there, but they've done a couple things differently, like the double Azdel walls, that taller ceiling, the king bed that I mentioned, but also instead of a second entry door that some people say, I don't need that, what they did here is they gave it a big camp kitchen with a real sink to the drain. And I don't know if you've been keeping score. It seems like you can count about on one hand nowadays the number of travel trailers or fifth wheels, frankly, they have a big camp kitchen with an actual draining sink. It's just become super uncommon, and I love that they've maintained it here. Now, the RV has a couple good points. It has a couple drawbacks as well, and I'm going to be fair and show you those things as we go. Like I'll mention, with that full super slide in front of the axles, it does have a hitch weight that's probably more than a lot of half-tons want to tackle. Depends on your specific truck in question, though. So giving you some fair info like that is what we're going to do, and if you appreciate that, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Let's get rolling. So as we go through our video today, let me know what you like. Let me know what you don't like. Tell me your good, bad, ugly, and in between, and I'll do the same for you, and maybe we'll meet somewhere in the middle. You can see this one has that Insignia 4K TV above the electric space heat and Tootsie Toaster. That thing is high enough, it's a little bit of a kneecap barbecue, but I do like the little shoe garage next to it. Now, around the corner, one of the things I'll tell you is this RV is a little bit, not a little bit, it's very limited on campsite window coverage. That's where I think that front windshield really comes in to help kind of save the day on this one, like Mighty Mouse, basically. The other thing is, though, when you're sitting here, you actually have really awesome forward visibility that most travel trailers just don't give you, you know? Now, one of the things that I really like about Freedom Expresses is their taller ceilings. A lot of trailers have 6.5 foot sidewalls. A lot of trailers with those 6.5 foot sidewalls may or may not have vaulted interior ceilings, which makes everything look and feel bigger. This one does a 6'9" linear ceiling, which makes it look bigger, as does, in my opinion, I think the way that the slide out flooring matches the main flooring, ventless, carpetless. I think that that is just one of those things that just visually makes it look bigger. Now, we're looking at one of two different decors they have here. This is, I believe this is called their Cloud decor with the lighter colored seating. They also have Storm, which is darker colored seating. Now, the first time I saw Storm was actually in a rear kitchen Freedom Express. I've not seen it in this front kitchen. And personally, I'm liking it, but that's my 2 cents. I'd like to hear what you folks have to say. Now, you can get some different seating setups on this one. Like, if you prefer a hide-a-bed or whatever, that is all stuff that you can do with these. And as we'll see in a minute, that's a free-floating table. So if you want to, you know, whip that around to the theater seat and have a dino for dining situation at the end of the evening, you can do that too. Notice how our slide side windows open for airflow, and both sides do that, just in case you're curious. One thing I do want to mention is what we're looking at today is the actually swaptional 8 cubic foot gas electric fridge freezer. Normally, by default, this would have a 12-volt DC compressor fridge. Now, you also have the option, with either fridge, of pairing this up with their factory solar package, which we'll get a little bit of a peek at today. I think I might have showcased that just a touch in our floor plan in a flash kind of footage. But if you go with the 12-volt fridge, the factory solar package should be enough to generally offset the demands of that 12-volt fridge. Now, on a dreary overcast day like today, no, probably not. You'd probably run into a power draw deficit. But with the gas electric two-way fridge like we're looking at, if you wanted to be off-grid for a little bit, you'd be able to support that much, much longer. Now, it doesn't have the kind of solar that can run like the air conditioning and stuff like that. That's not what this one is. I like the contrast, the color contrast. That rich wood tone on the face of this, I think they toned that down a little bit. Last year, I remember that. I swear it was a little bit brighter. Is it just me? Am I remembering this wrong? I've got about halfheimers. I remember stuff about half the time, you know? The other half of the time, well, I can't remember if I do or don't. You have the choice between the standard 13.5 or the 15,000 BTU central air. You can get this built 50 amp service. You can add a second air conditioner into the bedroom if you're so inclined. And I like those accent lights. You see those above the TV right there, as well as above the seating. Now, speaking of that TV, that can pivot around. But real quick, I don't want to miss a thing. They managed to give us both a electric space heating fireplace and a little bit of storage down there, as you see. Now, if you're sitting in the kitchen or standing in the kitchen, I don't know why, maybe you're sitting on the kitchen countertop. I don't know why you'd want to do that. But whether you're basically, no, what I'm getting at is in the living room area here, you have easy visibility of the television since it pivots around. That theater seat, by the way, is heat and massage. But again, if you'd prefer a hide-a-bed, actually, leave me a comment. What equipment package, what furniture package would you prefer on this? Like 1 air, 2 air, red air, blue air? Let me know kind of how you'd like one of these built out. Now, they have deceptively deep countertops on this. And, that pop-up power tower really puts some outlets exactly where you want them for appliance reasons. And where I really like that is this is an 1.5 inch thick wall, double Azdel wall kind of camper. So the walls aren't exactly thick enough to be putting power outlets into them. So having that pop-up power tower right there, putting, the juice right where you want it, that works pretty well. Now, I've just got my little, vest coat combo over here, keeping me warm today since it is a little wet and chilly. But did you notice that mega pantry over there could also be a giant closet by the door? And I like how that runs all the way down. I think they did a really good job of that. Better than, frankly, some other brands that I've seen. You know what? Actually, overall, I think we've pretty much nailed the living room here. Let's slide over to that bathroom area. Now, slip sliding our way in here. It's not just a mirror on the wall. It is a full medicine cabinet. That's very uncommon to see just a mirror on the wall in laminated RVs, but I like to point that out, let you get to see the shelf in there. Similarly, they have some nice, decent, dedicated linen space here in this bathroom, something a lot of travel trailers tend to lack. Now, this bathroom is not mighty and letting it all hang out like a brick house. It's not bad, though, in my opinion, but I think whether or not you like this bathroom will be whether or not you like a pair of pants. You're going to have to try them on for size to verify. There's enough hip and shoulder room around this. There's good leg room for me. Being a taller ceiling camper, there's also more headroom in the shower, but it is a radius shower that some people are going to find very tight. I can deal with it. That's not going to be a deal breaker factor for me, but I'd be kind of curious to know what you folks think. I'm not really sure there's enough room in there for like a rectangular shower. I know a lot of people prefer those. I don't know if that could be done. I know I don't seem to see a lot of manufacturers doing it. Did you notice, by the way, there is a sliding privacy door back here into this bedroom? And the trick with this bedroom is it's 10 pounds of sugar in a 5-pound sack. And I really can't get everything in the camera frame all at once without flipping over to, wacky, crazy wide angle mode. And actually, just as a quick service to you, that's what this would look like right here. And, if you had fish eyes, that's what this one would look like. Now, I don't really think this is representative of the space, but this one is not, the bedroom of this is not super camera friendly. So I think this is one of the best ways that I can go about covering all this. Now, let's take a look at the storage starting over there in that big hanging closet. One of the really cool things about this one, they got really crafty, really creative with the storage, giving us a big closet, TV hookup straight across from the bedroom. But if you notice, like the wall that's shared with the bathroom and the living room, basically, that's all additional dresser storage space. So there's actually really good personal storage in here. A little bit above the bed with those little dual, spotlight style reading lights, and easy lift storage below. One of the other really clutch qualities in this camper, that 70 by 80 king bed. Almost anyone else who builds anything remotely like this will build it with some form of queen. This is one of the very few that I've ever seen with a bigger king bed. Now, the question kind of becomes, what about the road mode? And that is where this one starts to get a little bit tricky, and its greatest asset kind of becomes its greatest liability. And what I mean by that is by virtue of the fact that it does not have the second door directly into the bedroom, like some other similar floor plans from some other brands, it means that basically with the slides closed, you are hard losing access to the bedroom. However, if you remember to open that door before you close the slide all the way, and if you secure it before you go jiggle banging down the road, you can maintain access to the bedroom or bathroom in transit. That's something that a lot of people have asked about in my previous instances of this footage, and I never remembered to check until now. So if you appreciate the actual effort doing little things like that, hit that subscribe button if you're new with us, or like our video if you've returned. Or don't. You know, I can't really tell you what to do, but neither here nor there. Looking from the other direction, if you were coming out of the bathroom at the Cracker Barrel pit stop, you know, using that entry door as a reference point, that pantry or closet, the refrigerator, the sink, it has what I think it has good travel stop access. It just isn't a travel stayover kind of camper. Now, real quick before we get too far along, again, let's talk towing. So, this RV, 30 foot basically, tip to tail, tongue to bumper, total length. That's a nice little mark that often reads as half-ton towable. Wide stance stability axles, that's also another thing that tends to read as more half-ton towable, because what that'll do is it'll make the RV feel like it's shorter when you're towing it, even though it's obviously actually not. The thing is, with that big super slide in front of the axles, it means that this RV is probably going to have more of a hitch weight than a lot of half-tons should be handling. So you really want to check the capacities, and specifically not the towing, but the payload rating on your half-ton, because that's usually where this one might exceed the abilities of many half-ton vehicles. Now, am I crazy? Or they touch up the graphics on that sidewall right there? That is just angular. It's just looking good to me. Anyway, did you notice we had a full, true pass-through compartment up front? Now, you kind of take that for granted in travel trailers, right? But remember, when you start comparing against other front kitchens like this, that's not a feature that you normally find out there. That was a key detail that I'm really glad the builders maintained in this RV. Now, up here on the tongue, you'll see just a simple battery disconnect switch, that red paddle looking at us right there. But they tongue mount their spare tire instead of put it on the rear bumper. A little bit of weight in front of the axles does tow better than weight behind. Obviously, this one we've already talked about has already a pretty good hitch weight as it is. But that leaves the rear bumper open in case you felt like adding accessories. Ironically, the Bean Countin' Muckety Mucks corporate McStuffy pants down at Coachmen says, yeah, but if you do that, we didn't really account for that in our warranty, so, you know, be careful. Anyway, that's just kind of the way of the world and the way of things. Oh, over here, a couple of things. Let's go ahead and get down at the skirt line. First of all, I don't know that you've seen a lot of these on the Freedom Expresses in my previous videos, but power stabilizer jacks are available on these, and like a full power suite is actually standard on the Liberty Edition. Now that I've opened my mouth and let that cat out of the bag, there is not a Liberty Edition version of this floor plan. Sometimes I wonder if there really needs to be a whole separate Liberty Edition. These, the Ultra series that we're looking at here are just so nicely well equipped as it is. Notice too, above that window, on the sidewall near the front, there is an outside vent so that your cooking heat on the inside does exhaust out of the RV, which is great. And I love what they did with their awning. They crushed this. This is all sorts of nerd preferred. It covers the main entry door and the camp kitchen, which is great. Now, there are some outside TV hookups right over here next to this little utility prep table. This is where you might put your little platter. Now, it's not made for super duper heavy weight or anything like that, but the fact is, you know, you got like your little, you got a tray or some tongs or something. Great little spot for it right here next to that little outdoor griddling station. And over here, we have, I think this qualifies, especially with the cooker next door, as a full-size camp kitchen. We have the bigger refrigerator, and we have a real sink with a real drain into a holding tank. And, I mean, that is just such a rare find anymore. It's just crazy to me how few manufacturers actually do that. Now, as I back up here a little bit, Mother Nature's doing me a solid and keeping that door open right there. And I appreciate that because I actually like to really get in this space because there's a lot more storage in here than you realize. This is basically all under and sort of like behind the dresser space in the private rear bedroom back there. And I'm kind of, what would you put in there? Now, that could be a good spot for your grill or griddle or whatever have you, but I actually think an outside wastebasket right there would be a really handy find. Factory standard roof ladder, which is nice. A lot of brands have gone to the telescopic ladders. I don't mind those. I do prefer, personally, the fixed attached ladder versus a detachable. I can be curious, what is your preference on that? I don't know. I'd love to know what you think. Compared to some previous seasons, they've added some reverse travel lighting. That's the light element, the white element, rather, in the light element. I almost said the light element in the light element, but that would be even less clear than my normal nonsensical self, that the stuff I tend to spit out there. Also, not only do they have that full front passer, which again, most front kitchens tend to lack, they still have a big space under the bed right here. And in case you're curious as to what's in that cardboard box right there, well, that is a handy little 2-foot by 4-foot floating indoor-outdoor table. So you could theoretically use that like in front of the theater seat for a little bit of dyno action, or the hide-a-bed. Depends on how you want yours equipped, obviously. I think most people are going to bring it outside, though, and again, I mean, have a real, full, true big camp kitchen experience. And that right there, to me, is one of the major signature calling cards of this floor plan. It's the thing that really, truly separates it from almost anybody else who makes a layout like this. Now, an interesting note on their roof construction. It is actually, I don't know how else to describe it other than like a hybrid roof construction. It's somewhat aluminum, it's somewhat wood. It's more wood than aluminum, I'll tell you that first and foremost. But what they actually do is they have an aluminum perimeter on their roof to which the wooden trusses are fixed. Now, what that does is the aluminum perimeter allows the roof and the walls to have a, the aluminum beams are all going to be flat. The roof and the walls marry up better that way and have a better fit and finish. The roof trusses, being wood, 1, are a good insulator, 2, are very good at deflecting heavy loads so that it has that easy walk-on heavy snow load roof on here, which is, a lot of RVs have walkable roofs now. It's just nice to know that this one does, in a little different way in how they accomplish that. Thought you'd like to know. Now, as I've mentioned a few times, I'm sure, there's several other RVs with very similar floor plans. I will leave you some links in the video description to check those out for comparison's sake, as well as a link down there if you'd like to see what one of these is running. If we have one in stock, our website will have a price for you. And short of that, let me know what you like. Let me know, like, what is the one major, like, I wish I could change that one thing point on this one. And anything else you'd feel like sharing? I'd love to hear it. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.